What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we're coming to you from London, England, out here in the United Kingdom. We're going to show you 22 things you can do while visiting. There will be timestamps below in the description, so you can go across the video for the list. First up, we're headed to Buckingham Palace. This is one of 3 official residences of the King: Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh. There is 775 rooms here, including 92 offices, 188 staff bedrooms, and many other rooms for royals and guests. So a really big palace right here in the heart of London. It is open to the public in the summertime. Next up, we're headed to the British Museum, where they keep over 8 million works. It's actually one of the largest and most comprehensive exhibits and collections of human history in the world. You'll see everything from Egyptian mummies on down to the Rosetta Stone and so much more. This truly is one of the most impressive museums I've ever been to, although they are starting to give back some of the collection to the native countries in which they come from. This museum receives over 6 million visitors per year. And the best news of all, it is totally free to the public. Next up, we're headed to a London iconic landmark. This here is called the London Eye. It's the first of many big Ferris wheels that we saw built around the world, and the London Eye sits right here on the Thames River. Very beautiful views you can get inside of these capsules. It does cost around £30 to ride this, or around $37 US based on current currency rates. It does take about 30 minutes for the London Eye to do one full rotation. So keep that in mind when considering riding the Ferris wheel. Next up, we're headed to Piccadilly Circus. This area here is a road junction and a public space in London's West End. Now, it is popular because it has these big signs, kind of like you would see in Times Square with advertisements, but it's also a very popular neighborhood with young people who are looking for nightlife, because it's considered one of the liveliest neighborhoods in all of London. I would suggest that if you're looking for a hotel or an Airbnb, that it's nearby this area of Piccadilly Circus. This is one of a few top locations. Next up, let's talk about the main thoroughfare in London, the Thames River. Now, it is the longest river in all of England at 215 miles. Now, while here, you can actually take a river boat cruise. They have many different ferries that go up and down here, and it's a great way to see historical London from the comfort of a boat here on the Thames. Now let's talk about markets. They have very many markets here, including Borough Market, which is a fresh food market. But you could also go to Maltby Street Market, the Brick Lane Market, Camden Market, so many different markets around here. I mean, the list really goes on, but you should try to visit more than one market while here in London. One of the best times to actually visit these markets is during Christmas time because of all the festivities going on across the city, but the markets benefit the most from this. Here is a look at the Horse Tunnel Vintage Market. There's Camden Market and Stables Market nearby. And then, of course, the scene at Christmas looks like this. Plenty of fresh seafood and other cuts of meat can be found in these markets. Next up, we're headed to Big Ben, the clock tower. The actual name is the Great Bell, or the Great Clock of Westminster. After all, right next door is the Palace of Westminster, where the Parliament is located. Now, the clock tower was built in the year 1859, but has seen several makeovers since those years. It is the 3rd largest clock tower in the UK at over 316 feet tall. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and certainly a landmark here in the great city of London. If you wanted to go to the Parliament, you would go over towards Westminster Abbey from here after crossing the bridge. Speaking of bridges, let's take a look at the Tower Bridge. Now, this iconic bridge here is often confused with the London Bridge. This one is the Tower Bridge going over towards the tower. In the background, you will see the Shard Tower. The bridge itself was built in 1886 and completed in 1894. It extends over 800 feet, which is 240 meters in length, and is 213 feet wide, connecting the 2 bridge towers. You can actually drive a vehicle across the bridge or take a bus, but there's also a walking bridge on the right side that you can walk across the bridge as well. And in the area of the Tower Bridge, you'll see the Tower of London, which is another place we'll add to the list. There's also the London Wall, HMS Belfast, which we will be showing you a little later on. And just a little bit down the river is the London Bridge, the Southwark Bridge, and the Millennium Bridge. As we keep this Things to Do in London video going here, I want to remind you guys to check the description below. We have full Things to Do travel guides. Barcelona, Paris, and Rome. All videos down below. Watch all three if you can. And I even recommend sending these videos to your friends and family that you want to have join you on a trip to Europe. This is the information you're looking for of the premier cities. A great way to get around London is a big bus tour. They have the big bus, which is like a hop on, hop off, but they also have those red double-decker buses. If you get a chance to go over any of the bridges in one of those, try to sit up top. It's really a great view. This here is a look going over the Westminster Bridge towards Big Ben. If you decide to go with the double-decker bus, you can actually get a fare for one way as cheap as £1.75, but if you do a full day, it's £5.25 per person. The big bus is a bit more expensive and those do vary. Now let's talk about Westminster, where they have Westminster Abbey, the Palace of Westminster, the Parliament, and it's really an interesting area because of the historical relevance of this place. Westminster is a neighborhood located in the city of Westminster in the heart of London. In this area, you'll also find important houses like the Parliament, as we mentioned, Westminster Abbey, Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square, and the area is also known for many different historic architectural, museums, theaters, and government buildings, as well as a popular shopping area like Oxford Street. And this here is me just cruising around on a big bus on the top deck. You can see this is what it's going to look like for you when you cruise around and do the tour as well. Next up, we're headed to Hyde Park, not the one in Chicago, but the one here in London. Hyde Park is actually the largest park located in the city of Westminster in London. It covers around 350 acres, which is 140 hectares. It's right next to Kensington Gardens and St. James Park, two other popular parks right next to Buckingham Palace. You'll also see that it's a popular tourist destination with wide variety of attractions, beautiful gardens, the big lake right here in the middle, and several fountains and statues. Some of the famous landmarks include the Serpentine Bridge, the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Foundation, Speaker's Corner, where people can speak their minds on a variety of different topics. Also, they have events, including the annual Winter Wonderland Festival. But yes, I would definitely recommend walking around here and just relaxing. Middle of the day, typically in the summertime, is the perfect time for these parks. Hyde Park, St. James Park. And the trees around here, when they're in bloom, very beautiful to walk around during this time. Lots of swans and other ducks as well. Some of the wildlife you'll find around London. Next up, we're actually headed to the Natural History Museum. You can see this big blue whale skeleton right there on the roof. The museum's exhibits include a wide variety of natural world stuff like geology, botany, paleontology, zoology, a collection of dinosaur fossils, and of course the blue whale from the roof, which I mentioned previously. It is in the neighborhood of Kensington in London, so you can also check out the Science Centre, the Science Museum, and the Victoria and Albert Museum while nearby. The museum, founded in 1881, is one of the largest natural history museums in the world, housing over 80 million specimens in its collection. So this is a really large museum with a variety of different natural history. That's very interesting. That's one of the things about London. The museums here are definitely world class. And of course, the kids are going to love these life-size replicas of the dinosaurs, even these feathered dinosaurs right here. Planned for around 3 to 4 hours here. Next up, we're actually headed to the Tower of London, and we're going to talk about the history involving this structure. This historical castle was founded in 1066 by William the Conqueror and served as the royal palace, a prison, and a mint, as well as the fortress for many centuries right here on the Thames River. It is one of London's most popular tourist attractions. Millions of people visit here every year. Next up, we're at the Shard, which is the largest skyscraper in all of London, standing over 1,016 feet tall. That's 310 meters. It was completed in 2012. It's a mixed-use building for business, offices, restaurants, and luxury hotel. And you can go to the top where they have the view from the Shard. There is panoramic views over London at 800 feet. And if you're looking for these observation decks, I would also recommend you check out something called the Sky Garden. Another area that I highly recommend you check out is called the Covent Garden. It's a popular district in the West End of London. It was originally established as a fruit and vegetable market, but nowadays you can go to places like the Crown and Anchor bar and restaurant. This whole area is very colorful. It was established in 1904 if you go to that Crown and Anchor bar. In addition to the market, they also have historical buildings like the Royal Opera House, St. Paul's Church, many street performers you can find up and down the road here. So walking around, taking in the sights and sound, doing some shopping, really this is the vibrant atmosphere of London right here. It's really a mix of old buildings and new buildings. As you can see, they have the IMAX theater and a casino right there along the road. And next up, let's talk about Chelsea Football Club. You can see the stadium right here. London and England in general, very popular teams. They have Liverpool, they have Manchester, but here in London, the main team is going to be the Chelsea Football Club. And if you can, try to get to one of those games. You will have a good time. Now we're headed to Trafalgar Square. It is a public square named after a British Royal Navy battle between France and Spain in 1805. You will also see Nelson's Column, which commemorates Admiral Horatio Nelson, who died at the battle. It stands over 169 feet, and it's surrounded by 4 bronze lions. There is also a National Gallery, world-renowned art museum that houses over 2,300 paintings nearby. So when you come down here to Trafalgar Square, it's a popular tourist destination with both tourists and locals, and a vibrant, lively atmosphere throughout the year, really. Next up, we're at Cutty Sark, a historic British clipper right here in Greenwich, London. It was built in 1869. Today, it's a popular tourist attraction because of the historical relevance of this ship and a poem. Now we're on the way to the HMS Belfast, just down the Thames from the Cutty Sark, which is a ship built in the 1930s. It played a significant role in World War II, including the D-Day landings and sinking the German battleship Scharnhorst. So this is a very historical ship, and it was actually decommissioned in the 1960s. Now it's been preserved as a museum and open to the public since 1971. That's the thing about visiting London. You'll realize they've been involved in many different wars, not just World War I or World War II. There was many different wars that the British Empire was fighting in, and HMS Belfast and the Cutty Sark are just 2 relics of that war-fighting past that come out of London. And now we're at the Tate Modern, which is a contemporary art museum located on the Bankside area of London. So this has a network of galleries that you'll want to check out if you're into art. They have sculptures, paintings, and photographs. As well as having a permanent collection, they also have a variety of temporary exhibitions throughout the years. Onto the London Underground, also known as the Tube. It is a rapid transit system that has over 270 stations and 400 kilometers of track. It's a really big metro that goes all across the London area. It operates 24 hours a day. It's not just underground, by the way. There are some areas that go above ground. It was originally opened in 1863, so it was one of the very first metro systems in the entire world. Now let's talk about the food and cuisine. While here, obviously English breakfast is very popular. You can see they've got sausages, eggs, they've got bacon and tomatoes, sometimes some mushrooms. Very popular. Also fish and chips, fresh fish that's actually deep fried, and some French fries. Also, you can see a variety of different other cuisines that involve mostly sausages and various cuts of meat, and also beer. Lots of beer here in London. Well, that's 22 things to do in London. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. Thank you to all of our channel members. And also watch our next video from Paris or Rome by clicking one of these links or the links in the description.